Hi, dear friend. You've found a quiet place to rest and dream. Tonight, we'll drift together through the silence where stars are born and time moves differently. I want you to settle in now. Let your shoulders fall. Let the weight of the day dissolve into the softness beneath you. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to solve. For the next while, you can simply be here, breathing, listening, drifting. I'm floating right now, actually floating. My body knows no up or down, no heavy or light. Just the gentle suspension of existing between worlds, between breaths. And as I float here watching Earth turn below me like a blue marble caught in velvet, I want to share this feeling with you, this quietness, this strange and beautiful solitude. You don't need to understand everything I say. You don't need to remember it. Just let the words wash over you like waves, gentle and rhythmic, carrying you toward rest. The universe is so much larger than we imagine, and yet, in this moment, it feels intimate, personal, as if it were speaking directly to us in the language of light and shadow, of distance and time. Let me tell you what it's like up here. The first thing you notice is the silence. Not the absence of sound exactly, but the presence of something deeper. A stillness so complete it feels like a living thing. Inside the station, there are hums and clicks, the whisper of air through vents, the occasional creak of metal adjusting to temperature. But beyond these thin walls, beyond this fragile bubble of warmth and oxygen, there is only the vast, patient quiet of space. It's the kind of silence that makes you listen differently, not with your ears, but with something older, something that remembers when our ancestors looked up at the night sky and felt both small and significant, both lost. From up here, Earth doesn't look fragile, it looks eternal. Swirls of white cloud, deep ocean blue, the soft browns and greens of continents. At night, cities glow like clusters of golden stars, tiny constellations made by human hands. During the day, sunlight catches the curve of the atmosphere, creating a thin blue line that separates everything we've ever known from everything we're still learning. That line is so delicate, thinner than the skin of an apple, if Earth were apple-sized. And yet, it holds every breath, every whisper, every song ever. I think about that all, how thin the boundary is between, how precious, how improbable. We orbit Earth every 16 sunrise. Time becomes strange when lose their meaning, when your body doesn't alert, or you learn to trust a different rhythm, the rhythm of your breath, the rhythm of the quiet pulse that says, you are here, you are alive, you are floating through an ocean of stars. Sometimes I press my hand against the window. It's cold, that glass, cold and smooth and impossibly clear. Beyond it, the universe extends in all directions, infinite and indifferent and somehow impossibly beautiful. The sun up here doesn't twinkle, it doesn't soften. It's a fierce, unwavering point of light, so bright you can't look at it directly, even for a moment. But when Earth slides between us and that burning star, when we pass into shadow, the darkness is absolute. No streetlights, no moon glow, just the stars, suddenly visible in their thousands, their millions, scattered like diamond dust across black velvet. And you realize that down there on Earth, we only ever see a fraction. The atmosphere filters and softens and hides so much. But up here, there's nothing between you and infinity. Nothing but a thin pane of glass and your own breath fogging it slightly as you stare. Breathe with me now. slow and deep. Let your chest rise and fall like a tide. There's no rush. Time is different here. Remember? 90-minute days, 16 sunsets. None of it matters when you're floating in the dark. I've been thinking about how long it takes to travel, how the photons that touch my face right now left the sun 8 minutes ago. They crossed 93 million miles of emptiness to arrive at this exact moment, this exact place, to warm this small patch of skin. The light from the nearest star beyond our sun, Proxima Centauri, takes 4 years to reach us. 4 years of traveling through the void at the fastest speed the universe allows. Which means when I look at that star, I'm seeing it as it was 4 years ago. I'm looking into the past. Every star in the night sky is a time machine. The farther away they are, the further back we're seeing. Some of the stars we observe from Earth might not exist anymore. They might have collapsed into themselves, become black holes or neutron stars, exploded in supernova that scattered their atoms across light years of space. But their light is still traveling toward us, a ghost of something that once burned bright. Isn't that strange, that we can look up and see history written in light? From here I can see the Milky Way edge on, a river of light flowing across the darkness. 200 billion stars, maybe more, all bound together by gravity, all spinning slowly around a supermassive black hole at the galaxy's. Our sun is just one small point in that vast spiral, located about 2/3 of the way out from the center, in a quiet arm where planets can form and life can take its time evolving. It takes our solar system about 230 million years to complete one orbit around the galactic center. The last time Earth was in this exact spot in the galaxy, dinosaurs were just beginning to walk the land. The next time we pass through here, who knows what will exist? Who will be looking up at the stars, wondering? You can let your mind wander now. You can let these thoughts drift through you without holding on to them. Like clouds passing across a summer sky, here and then, gone, gentle. Up here you lose track of what day it is, what month. The calendar becomes abstract, something that exists down there in the world of meetings and schedules and alarm clocks. Here there's only now, only this moment, suspended in the dark. I watch Earth turn beneath me, and I try to pick out places I know. Sometimes I can see the outline of a coastline, the distinctive shape of a peninsula or island. Sometimes I see storms brewing, massive spiral systems of cloud that stretch across entire regions, beautiful and terrible all at once. Lightning flickers inside the clouds like thoughts firing inside a vast brain. Spider webs of electricity spreading and branching, lighting up the darkness for just a moment before fading. From up here, it's silent. No thunder. Just the quick, bright pulse of energy seeking ground. I think about how everything on Earth, everything alive, is made from stardust. This isn't poetry. This isn't metaphor. It's fact, written in the periodic table, proven by spectroscopy and stellar evolution models. The hydrogen in your body, the most abundant element in your cells, was forged in the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago. The carbon in your bones, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your teeth, all of it was created inside stars, massive stars that lived fast and died violently, exploding and seeding space with heavy elements. When those stars died, their atoms scattered. They drifted through the cosmos for millions of years, slowly gathering in clouds of gas and dust. Gravity pulled them together. They collapsed, they heated, they spun, and eventually they formed new stars, new planets, our sun, our Earth, us. We are the universe experiencing itself. We are the cosmos made conscious. Every thought you think, every dream you dream is made possible by atoms that once burned inside stars. Let that thought settle over you like warm and heavy and comforting. You are made of stars. You are part of something ancient and ongoing and vast beyond measure. Your breath is slow now, deep and even. That's good. You don't need to stay awake. The story will keep flowing soft and steady, whether you hear every word or not. Sometimes I think about the scale of things, how Earth is just a planet, orbiting a star, in a solar system, in a galaxy, in a local group of galaxies, in a supercluster, in a universe that might be one of many universes, each with its own laws and constants and possibilities. It's too much to hold in your mind all at once. The numbers become meaningless. A billion, a trillion, a quadrillion. They're just sounds after a while, words that can't contain the reality they're trying to describe. But you can feel it sometimes, the bigness, the smallness, both at once. You can feel how you fit into the pattern, how your life, brief and bright, is part of something that has no beginning or end that we can see. From up here, borders disappear. You can't see the lines humans have drawn across continents, the divisions we've created and fought over and died defending. You can only see the whole. One world, one atmosphere, one shared home spinning through the dark. The aurora borealis sometimes dances below us, curtains of green and purple light, rippling and flowing like silk in an invisible wind. They're caused by solar wind, charged particles from the sun colliding with atoms in Earth's upper atmosphere. Oxygen glows green. Nitrogen glows purple. The colors paint themselves across the magnetic field lines, visible proof that Earth is protected, shielded by forces we can't see, but can measure and understand and, from up here, witness. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. The way the lights move, alive and flowing, responding to the sun's breath. Ancient peoples thought they were spirits, messages from the gods, doorways to other realms. They weren't wrong, really, just using different language for the same wonder. I've been up here long enough now that my body has changed. My bones are less dense. My muscles have weakened despite hours of exercise. Fluids have shifted upward, making my face puffy, my sinuses full. My heart doesn't have to work as hard to pump blood without gravity pulling it down, so it's grown slightly small. The human body is built for Earth, for gravity, for weight and pressure, and the constant pull downward. Up here, we're visitors, guests in an environment that wasn't made for us. And yet, we adapt, we adjust. We learn to move in 3 dimensions instead of 2, to think of forward and back, left and right, up and down as equally valid directions. It changes you. Living this way makes you aware of your body in new ways. Every movement has to be intentional. Every push creates an equal and opposite reaction. You can't just walk across a room. You have to think about where you'll grab, where you'll push off, where you'll stop yourself before you crash into the far wall. But there's a grace to it once you learn, a kind of dance. You become fluid, flowing, moving through space like a swimmer through water, like a bird through air. Let yourself feel weightless now. Imagine your body lifting, just slightly, away from whatever supports it, not flying, just floating, suspended, free from the constant pull that's been with you every moment of your life. And how light you feel, how easy, how simple it is to just drift. The moon passes below us sometimes, depending on our orbit. It looks different from up here, not the flat disk you see from Earth's surface, but a sphere, three-dimensional and real, hanging in the blackness. You can see its shape, the way sunlight curves across its surface, creating a boundary between day and night that's sharp and clear. The moon's surface is covered in craters, billions of years of impacts, each one a collision with an asteroid or comet, each one releasing energy equivalent to thousands of nuclear bombs. But the moon has no atmosphere to burn up incoming objects, no weather to erase. Every impact is preserved, written in stone, a geological record that stretches back to the solar system's violent youth. We've been there. Humans walked on that surface, left footprints that will last for millions of years because there's no wind to blow them away, no rain to wash them smooth. Just dust and rock and the slow accumulation of micrometeorite impacts gradually over eons, erasing what we did. But for now, they're still there. Proof that we're explorers, that we push boundaries, that we look at the impossible and find ways to make it possible. The moon is slowly drifting away from Earth, about 1.5 inches each year. The same tidal forces that create ocean tides are gradually pushing the moon into a higher orbit. Millions of years from now, it will be noticeably smaller in Earth's sky. Billions of years from now, if anyone's still around to see it, the moon might appear no larger than a bright star. But that's so far away, it barely matters. Right now, in this moment, the moon is exactly where it needs to be, creating tides, stabilizing Earth's rotation, lighting up the night. Time is strange up here. I mentioned that already, didn't I? But it's worth repeating because it's such a fundamental shift in how you experience existence. On Earth, time is marked by sunrise and sunset, by the slow progression from dawn to dusk, by the rhythm of day and night that's been constant for all of human history. Up here, those markers disappear. Or rather, they speed up to the point of absurdity. 16 sunrises, 16 sunsets, every single day. Your body doesn't know what to do with that information. Your circadian rhythm, evolved over millions of years to respond to a 24-hour cycle, gets confused. You feel tired at strange times, wide awake when you should be sleeping, hungry when you just ate, disconnected from the biological clock that usually runs in the background, unnoticed and essential. So we create artificial rhythms, schedules, work periods and sleep periods and meal times that have nothing to do with the sun's position or Earth's rotation. We impose order on chaos. We make up time because without it, we drift, lost in the endless cycle. But there's something liberating about that too. Once you stop fighting it, once you accept that time up here is just a construct, something we've agreed upon for convenience rather than a fundamental truth, you start to feel differently about it, less rushed, less anxious about wasting it or running out of it. Each moment becomes sufficient unto itself. This breath, this heartbeat, this view of Earth turning below, clouds swirling, oceans reflecting sunlight like scattered mirrors. You can rest now, really rest. Let your thoughts slow down, like a river widening as it approaches the sea, spreading out, losing urgency, becoming still. I spend a lot of time at the cupola. It's a module with 7 windows, the largest windows ever sent into space. 6 around the sides, and 1 directly beneath, looking straight down at Earth. It's the most popular spot on the station, and I understand why. You can spend hours there, just watching, just being present with the view. Sometimes I see cities at night, and I try to imagine the lives happening down. Millions of people, each one living their own story, facing their own challenges, experiencing their own joys and sorrows. From up here, it all looks so peaceful, so unified. The lights twinkling like a reflection of the stars above. It makes you realize how much we have in common. Everyone down there is breathing the same air, warmed by the same sun, protected by the same magnetic field. We're all passengers on the same planet, traveling through space together at 67,000 miles per hour, orbiting a star that's orbiting a galaxy that's moving through space toward an unknown destination. We're all in motion, always, even when we feel still. Earth's atmosphere, that thin blue line I mentioned earlier, is about 62 miles thick if you count the outer edge. We orbit at about 250 miles up, well beyond the breathable air, in a region called low Earth orbit. It's high enough that atmospheric drag is minimal, low enough that we're still firmly within Earth's gravitational embrace. We're falling, actually, constantly falling, but we're also moving forward so fast that we keep missing the planet. That's what an orbit is, a controlled fall, a balance between velocity and gravity, speed and pull, motion and attraction. It's a useful metaphor for life, I think. We're all falling through time, pulled forward by forces we don't fully control, traveling at speeds we can't change, but we have direction. We have momentum. And if we balance things just right, we don't crash. We orbit. We continue. We trace a path that's both predictable and beautiful. The sun is a middle-aged star, about 4.6 billion years old, halfway through its life, give or take a billion years. It's a G-type main sequence star, fusing hydrogen into helium in its core, releasing energy that takes 100,000 years to work its way from the center to the surface before radiating out into space as light and heat. That light, that warmth, life on Earth possible. Plants capture it, convert it into chemical energy through photosynthesis. Animals eat the plants or eat other animals that ate the plant. Energy flows up the food chain, eventually being released as heat, returning to the environment, continuing the cycle. We're all solar-powered when you think about it. The food you ate today contained energy that came from the sun. The wood that burns in a fireplace is stored sunlight captured by trees over years or decades. The coal and oil we burn for energy is ancient sunlight, trapped in the bodies of plants and animals that lived millions of years ago, compressed and concentrated, waiting to be released. Everything connects back to the sun, that fierce, bright point of light that dominates our sky, that burns without pause, that has been burning since before Earth existed and will continue burning long after we're gone. But not forever. Nothing lasts forever. Not even stars. In about 5 billion years, the sun will exhaust the hydrogen in its core. It will begin fusing helium into heavier elements, and in doing so, it will expand. It will become a red giant, swelling to perhaps 100 times its current diameter. It will swallow Mercury, it will swallow Venus, it might swallow Earth, or it might just strip away our atmosphere and oceans, leaving behind a charred, lifeless rock. Eventually, it will shed its outer layers, creating a beautiful planetary nebula, a cloud of glowing gas expanding into space. The core will remain, a white dwarf, slowly cooling over trillions of years, eventually becoming a black dwarf, a cold, dark cinder floating through the final resting state of a star that once gave life to an entire planetary system. But that's so far in the future, it's almost meaningless. Right now, the sun is stable, reliable, constant, rising and setting, warming and lighting, making everything possible. Let that constancy comfort you. The sun will rise tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. For the rest of your life and the lives of countless generations to come, the sun will be there, unchanged and unchanging, a fixed point in a universe of motion. I watch solar flares sometimes when the sun is active. Massive eruptions of plasma and magnetic energy arcing hundreds of thousands of miles above the sun's surface before falling back or being ejected into space. They're beautiful and dangerous, capable of disrupting satellites, damaging electronics, creating spectacular auroras when they interact with Earth's magnetic field. The sun is not a gentle thing. It's a nuclear furnace, a ball of plasma held together by its own gravity, sustained by fusion reactions that convert 4 million tons of matter into energy every second. But from Earth, filtered through the atmosphere, it seems soft, friendly, life-giving. Both things are true. The universe is often like that, beautiful and dangerous, gentle and violent, life-giving and life-ending. It depends on your perspective, your distance, your relationship. Space is mostly empty. That's worth remembering. Despite the billions of stars, the trillions of planets, the vast clouds of gas and dust, most of the universe is just void, empty space, vacuum, nothing. If you scaled the solar system down so Earth was the size of a peppercorn, the moon would be a pinhead, about an inch away. The sun would be a beach ball about 25 feet away, and the next closest star would be 4,000 miles away. That's the scale we're working with. Vast distances, enormous emptiness. And yet, in that emptiness, remarkable things happen. Gravity pulls atoms together, stars form, planets coalesce, life emerges, consciousness arises, and here we are, thinking about it, trying to understand it, floating in a metal box above a blue planet, staring out at the darkness and finding it beautiful. You don't need to understand it all. You don't need to grasp the full scope. Just knowing that you're part of it, that you belong to this vast and ancient story, is enough. Your eyes are heavy now. That's natural. That's good. Let them close if they want to. Let your body sink deeper into rest. The universe doesn't need you to watch it. It will continue whether you're aware of it or not, patient and eternal, unfolding according to laws that were written in the first moments after the Big Bang. Sometimes I think about that moment, the beginning, when everything that exists now, all the matter and energy in the entire observable universe, was compressed into a point smaller than an atom, infinitely dense, infinitely hot. And then, for reasons we still don't fully understand, it expanded. Not into space. Space itself expanded. Time began. The universe became. In the first fraction of a second, fundamental forces separated. Particles formed. Quarks combined into protons and neutrons. The universe cooled from trillions of degrees to merely billions. After a few minutes, the first atomic nuclei formed. After a few 100,000 years, those nuclei captured electrons and became the first atoms. And then, for a long time, nothing much happened. The universe expanded. It cooled. Clouds of hydrogen and helium drifted through the darkness. But gravity was patient. Slowly, over millions of years, those clouds began to collapse. They heated up. They spun faster. And eventually, in their centers, temperatures and pressures became high enough for fusion to ignite. The first stars were born. They were massive, those hundreds of times heavier than our sun. They burned bright and fast, fusing hydrogen into helium, helium into carbon, carbon into oxygen, building heavier and heavier elements until their cores were iron, and fusion could go no further. And then they exploded, supernovae, the most violent events in the universe. In a matter of seconds, they released more energy than our sun will produce in its entire lifetime. And in that moment of destruction, in those extreme temperatures and pressures, the heaviest elements were created: gold, platinum, uranium, all the elements heavier than iron. Those explosions seeded space with the raw material for life. We are made from the ashes of every atom in your body, except for hydrogen, was forged in stellar furnaces billions of years ago. You are ancient. You are cosmic. You are precious beyond measure because you are rare, improbable, a temporary arrangement of atoms that happens to be conscious, capable of wonder, able to look up at the stars and understand, however dimly, where you came from. The station creaks sometimes. Small adjustments as it heats and cools, as internal pressure shifts slightly, as we make course corrections to maintain our orbit. It's a living thing, this station. A human-made home in a hostile environment, sustained by technology and willpower, and the accumulated knowledge of thousands of engineers and scientists and dreamers who looked up and said, "We can go there, we can live there, we can make a home among the stars." And we did. Not permanently, not yet, but we're here. We've been continuously present in space for over 2 decades, rotating cruising experiments, learning how to survive and thrive in weightlessness. We're practicing, learning, preparing for the day when we might venture further, to the moon again, but this time to stay, to Mars eventually, perhaps generations from now, to other star systems, other planets, carrying life and consciousness beyond the bounds of our birth world. It's an old dream, ancient, really. Every culture that's ever looked up has wondered what's out there, has told stories about the stars, has imagined journeys beyond the known world. Now we're living it, slowly, carefully, one small step at a time. But we're moving forward, always forward. The Milky Way is on a collision course with Andromeda, our nearest large galactic neighbor. In about 4 billion years, the two galaxies will begin to merge. It will take hundreds of millions of years to complete a slow-motion dance of gravity and momentum. 2 spiral galaxies interpenetrating, their stars passing by each other. Very few actually colliding because space is so vast and stars are so small relative to the distances between them. Eventually, they'll settle into a new shape, probably an elliptical galaxy, less structured than the spirals we are now, but stable, held together by gravity, slowly aging as its stars burn through their fuel and die one by one, leaving behind white dwarfs and neutron stars and black holes, the corpses of suns. But Earth won't be here to see it. By then the sun will have already become a red giant, already consumed or scorched the inner planets, already begun its death throes. Life on Earth has perhaps 1 billion years left, maybe 2. Eventually, The sun's increasing luminosity will boil away the oceans, create a runaway greenhouse effect, render the planet uninhabitable. Unless we leave, unless we take life with us to other worlds, other systems, spreading out across the galaxy like seeds carried on the wind. That's the long view, the cosmic perspective. Life emerged on Earth 4 billion years ago from chemistry and chance and favorable conditions. It evolved slowly through trial and error, extinction and adaptation, from single cells to complex organisms, from ocean to land to air to, finally, space. We're the first species on Earth capable of leaving it, the first to understand our place in the cosmos, the first to have a choice about our future. That's both terrifying and exhilarating. We're responsible now for ourselves, for our planet, for the continuation of the only life we know exists in the universe. It's a heavy burden, but also a privilege. You're drifting now. I can feel it. Your breath is slow and deep. Your body is relaxed. Your mind is wandering through the thoughts I'm sharing like a visitor in a museum, pausing at exhibits that interest you, moving past others, absorbing what resonates, and letting the rest fade away. That's perfect. That's exactly what you should do. Black holes exist at the centers of most galaxies. Supermassive black holes, millions or billions of times the mass of our sun, compressed into a region smaller than our solar system. They don't emit light, but they affect everything around them. Stars orbit them. Gas and dust spiral into them, heating up to millions of degrees, glowing brightly before disappearing forever beyond the event horizon. The event horizon is the point of no return, the boundary where escape velocity exceeds the speed of light. Once something crosses that threshold, it can never come back. Not matter, not energy, not even light itself. What happens inside, we don't know. Our mathematics breaks down. General relativity predicts a singularity, a point of infinite density, but that's likely a sign that our theories are incomplete, rather than a description of reality. Perhaps something else happens there. Perhaps space and time become something different, something we don't have words for, something we can't imagine from our limited perspective. But from a safe distance, black holes are just objects, strange objects with unusual properties, but objects nonetheless, subject to physical laws, predictable and understandable, at least at the level we can observe them. Neutron stars are stranger in some ways. The collapsed cores of massive stars compressed to the point where protons and electrons merge into neutrons, creating matter so dense that a teaspoon of it would weigh as much as a mountain. They're small, about the size of a city, but they contain more mass than our sun. They spin incredibly fast, sometimes hundreds of times per second, creating powerful magnetic fields that channel radiation into beams that sweep across space like lighthouse beacons. We call them pulsars when we can detect those beams, precise, regular pulses of radio waves, so consistent they were briefly mistaken for alien signals when first discovered in the 1960s. But they're natural, just physics, extreme physics, conditions we can't reproduce on Earth, but natural nonetheless. The universe is full of such wonders. Magnetars, neutron stars with magnetic fields, 1,000 trillion times stronger than Earth's, so powerful they distort the vacuum of space. Quasars, supermassive black holes actively feeding, shining with the light of 1 trillion suns, visible across billions of light years. Rogue planets ejected from their solar systems, wandering through interstellar space in perpetual darkness, and each one is a reminder that the universe is stranger and more varied than we can easily imagine, that our experience here on this temperate planet orbiting a stable star is not typical, but exceptionally rare and fortunate. We live in a gentle pocket of space, a quiet neighborhood. The conditions that allowed life to emerge and evolve and eventually produce beings capable of building space stations and thinking about black holes are so specific, so finely tuned, that we might be alone in the galaxy, or we might not be. The universe is so vast, the number of planets so enormous, that even extremely rare events become likely somewhere, sometime. We're looking, listening, scanning the stars for signals, for patterns that might indicate another technological civilization, another species that looked up and wondered and reached out. So far, silence. But absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. We've barely begun to search. The galaxy is huge, and we're only looking at a tiny fraction of it in limited wavelengths with limited sensitivity. Perhaps they're out there, other voices, other minds, other civilizations, wondering if they're alone. Perhaps someday we'll hear them, or perhaps they'll hear us first. What would we say? How would we introduce ourselves? How do you compress the entirety of human experience, history, art, science, love, struggle, into a message that could be understood by a mind that evolved under completely different conditions, with different senses, different priorities, different context? It's a fascinating and perhaps an unanswerable one. But it's worth thinking about because it makes us consider who we are, what we value, what we want to be known for across the light years. Right now, the furthest human-made objects are the Voyager probes, launched in the late 1970s, now in interstellar space, still transmitting faint signals back to Earth as they drift through the void between stars. They carry golden records, literal gold-plated phonograph records containing sounds and images from Earth. Music. Greetings in multiple languages, the sounds of wind and rain and laughter, photographs of people, places, animals, architecture. It's a message in a bottle, cast into a cosmic ocean, not expecting a reply, but sending one anyway because we wanted to, because we felt compelled to reach out to say, we were here, we existed, we wondered about you. Those probes will outlast our sun. Billions of years from now, long after Earth is gone, they'll still be drifting through space, silent and cold but intact, carrying our message, our legacy, our hope that someone someday will find them and know that we tried to connect. It's beautiful, that impulse, to reach across impossible distances, impossible timescales, with no expectation of reward or acknowledgement, simply because it matters to try. That's very human. The hope, the persistence, the refusal to be limited by what's practical or likely. I feel that up here. Floating in this metal shell, held safe by technology that would have seemed like magic 100 years ago, looking out at a universe that's mostly hostile to life, but occasionally, remarkably, gives rise to it. We shouldn't exist. The odds against us are astronomical. And yet here we are, defying entropy, creating complexity, building cathedrals and symphonies and spacecraft, trying to understand the rules that govern reality, trying to find meaning in the motion of galaxies and the decay of atoms. Maybe that's our purpose, not written in destiny or granted by divinity, but chosen, self-selected. We are the universe asking itself questions. We are matter becoming aware of itself, curious about itself, trying to understand itself, and that's enough. That's more than enough. Your breathing is so soft now, barely a whisper, in and out, steady and slow, like waves on a distant shore, like the pulse of a star, rhythmic and essential and life-giving. Rest now. Really rest. Let your mind release its grip on consciousness. Let yourself slip into the space between waking and sleeping, where thoughts become dreams, and dreams become nothing. Just the gentle dark of rest. I'll keep watch. I'll keep floating here, suspended between worlds, holding space for wonder and peace, and the quiet understanding that we're all connected, all part of the same cosmic story, all drifting through the darkness together. The earth turns below, cities sleep and wake, storms gather and dissolve, seasons change, lives begin and end, and through it all the planet keeps spinning, keeps orbiting, keeps existing in the narrow band where water stays liquid and life can flourish. It's not forever. Nothing is. But for now, for this moment and millions of moments to come, Earth is home. And home is precious beyond words. From up here, you can see no borders, no divisions, just one world, blue and beautiful, fragile and strong, floating in the vastness like a sanctuary, like a garden, like a promise that life can thrive if given the chance. We're learning to be better stewards, slowly, sometimes painfully, but we're learning. We're beginning to understand that we're all in this together, that what happens in one place affects everywhere else, that the atmosphere doesn't care about politics and the oceans don't recognize. It's a hard lesson, but a necessary one. And from up here, it seems so obvious, so clear. We're one species, on one planet, with one shared future. Everything else is detail. The stars are constant companions up here, always visible when we're in shadow, sharp and bright and innumerable. I've learned new constellations, or rather, old ones that were invisible from my previous home, but are clear from here. The Southern Cross, Carina, Centaurus. Ancient peoples navigated by these stars. They told stories about them, saw patterns, imposed meaning on random arrangements of light. The stars didn't care. They just kept burning, kept shining, indifferent to our interpretations. But the stories mattered to us. They still do. They connect us to our ancestors, to everyone who ever looked up and wondered, to the long chain of humans stretching back into deep time, all of us looking at the same stars, all of us finding our own meaning in their light. There's comfort and continuity in knowing that the stars people saw 10,000 years ago are essentially the same stars we see now. They've moved slightly, their positions shifted by the slow precession of Earth's axis and their own motion through space. But they're still there, still recognizable, still tracing the same patterns our ancestors memorized and passed down through generations. The North Star, Polaris, has been guiding travelers for centuries, not because it's particularly bright, but because it sits almost directly above Earth's North Pole, appearing stationary while all other stars wheel around it through the night. It's a fixed point in a turning sky, a reliable reference when everything else seems to be moving. But even that constancy is temporary. Earth's axis wobbles slowly, completing one full cycle every 26,000 years. In about 12,000 years, Polaris won't be the North Star anymore. Vega will take its place, becoming the new pole star, the new fixed point for future navigators to orient themselves by. Everything changes, given enough time, even the things that seem eternal. From this height, I can see the curvature of Earth clearly. It's not dramatic, not like the pictures taken from the moon showing the whole planet as a sphere, but it's there, gentle and undeniable. The horizon curving away in all directions, proving what ancient philosophers suspected and Renaissance scientists confirmed. We live on a globe, not a plane, suspended in space, bound by gravity to a star that's bound by gravity to a galaxy that's bound by gravity to countless other galaxies. It's gravity all the way down, or up, or out. The force that holds everything together, that makes planets round and orbits stable, and stars possible. Without it, the universe would be nothing but a thin, expanding gas, atoms drifting forever apart, never coming together, never creating anything more complex than hydrogen. But gravity exists, matter attracts matter, and from that simple rule, everything else follows. Galaxies, stars, planets, life, you, me, this moment. Sometimes I think about falling, really falling, not orbiting, but dropping straight down through the atmosphere, pulled by Earth's gravity, accelerating until air resistance balances the pull and terminal velocity is reached. It would be terrifying and exhilarating and final, but I'm safe up here, we all are. The station holds together, the systems work. Life support provides oxygen, removes carbon dioxide, maintains temperature and pressure within acceptable ranges. Solar panels convert sunlight into electricity. Batteries store energy for when we're in Earth's shadow. Water is recycled from every possible source, purified, made drinkable again. It's a closed system, more or less. As close to sustainable as we can make it with current technology. A practice run for longer journeys, more distant destinations, places where resupply won't be possible, and self-sufficiency will be essential. Mars is the obvious next target. Our nearest planetary neighbor, aside from Venus, which is too hot, too acidic, too hostile for any near-term human presence. Mars is cold and dry and its atmosphere is thin, but it's survivable with the right equipment. We could build habitats there, grow food in greenhouses, extract water from subsurface ice, generate oxygen from the carbon dioxide atmosphere. It won't be easy, it won't be comfortable, but it's possible. And that's enough to make it inevitable. Eventually. Humans have always pushed boundaries, explored new territories, sought out challenges, and overcome them, or died trying. We're driven by curiosity, by restlessness, by the need to see what's over the next hill, across the next ocean, beyond the next sky. Some call it foolish, a waste of resources, a distraction from problems here on Earth, and they're not entirely wrong. We do have pressing issues that need attention. Climate change, inequality, conflict, disease. But I don't think it's either or. We can work on multiple problems simultaneously. We can try to build a better world while also reaching for other worlds. We can be practical and visionary at the same time. And space exploration teaches us about materials science and sustainability and systems thinking. The technologies developed for space often find applications on Earth. The perspective gained from seeing our planet as a whole changes how we think about our relationship. Value isn't always measured in immediate returns. Sometimes the journey itself is the point. Your mind is wandering now, following paths I'm not describing, visiting memories and ideas that are yours alone. That's how it should be. I'm just a voice, a companion keeping you company as you drift towards. The space station has been called many things. A laboratory, an observatory, a symbol of international cooperation. All of those are true, but to me right now, it's simply home. A place where I eat and sleep and work and exist, floating above a world that suddenly seems very far away. I miss some things, the feeling of weight, of standing firmly on solid ground, the smell of rain, the taste of food that hasn't been freeze-dried or vacuum-sealed, the ability to take a shower where water falls instead of clinging to your skin in wobbling spheres. But I don't miss the rush, the constant hurry, the feeling that there's never enough time, that you're always behind, always trying to catch up to something that stays perpetually ahead of you. Up here, time moves differently, not just because of relativity, though that's real. We age slightly slower up here than we would on Earth's surface, but psychologically, experientially. When day and night lose their meaning, when schedules become arbitrary, you stop feeling rushed. You stop worrying about wasting time because time isn't a resource that depletes. It's just the medium you move through, like water, like air, omnipresent and infinite. At least it feels that way. I know it's not true. My time up here is limited. Eventually, I'll return to Earth, readapt to gravity, feel weight and heaviness, and the constant pull downward. I'll walk on solid ground, sleep in a bed that doesn't require restraints to keep me from floating away, eat fresh food, feel wind on my face, and I'll miss this, the quiet, the view, the sense of existing between worlds, belonging fully to neither, free in a way that's hard to describe and impossible to sustain, but precious. Everything is temporary. Every experience ends. Every moment gives way to the next. That's the nature of time, of existence, of consciousness. We're always moving forward, always leaving the past behind, always approaching a future that never quite arrives because, as soon as it does, it becomes the present, which immediately becomes the past. But that's okay. That's how it should be. Permanence would be stagnation. Change is what makes life full, what creates novelty and surprise and growth. The universe itself is impermanent. It began. It will end. Current theories suggest that it will keep expanding forever. Galaxies moving apart, stars burning out, black holes evaporating through Hawking radiation, until eventually, trillions of years from now, nothing remains but a thin soup of particles spread across distances so vast that they might as well not exist, unable to interact, unable to create anything new. Heat death, the final equilibrium, maximum entropy, the end of all structure, all complexity, all possibility. But that's so far away it's not worth worrying about. Right now, the universe is young, vibrant, full of energy and potential. Stars are being born, planets are forming. Life might be emerging in countless places we haven't discovered yet. The story is just beginning, really. The universe is only 13.8 billion years old. Stars will keep forming for trillions of years. There's so much time ahead, so many possibilities, so many futures that haven't been determined yet. We're living in the early chapters, the exciting part, when things are still being written, still being decided, still full of potential and promise. And you're part of that story. Your life, however brief in cosmic terms, matters. The choices you make, the kindness you show, the connections you form, they ripple outward in ways you can't see or measure, but that affect the shape of what comes next. You are significant. Not because the universe revolves around you, but because you're part of its unfolding, part of the process by which matter becomes aware and wonders and creates and loves. That awareness is precious. That capacity for wonder is rare. Don't take it for granted. The moon is waning now. I can see it through the window, a crescent of light against the darkness, beautiful and distant and familiar. Humans have looked at that same moon for all of history, written poems about it, worshipped it, measured time by its phases, used it to navigate oceans and plant crops and mark the passage of seasons. And then, in the span of a single human lifetime, we went from dreaming about the moon to walking on it, from wondering if it was possible to actually doing it. That's remarkable. That's worth celebrating. We haven't been back in decades, not because we can't, but because we chose other priorities, closer goals, different challenges, but we will go back. New programs are being developed, new spacecraft designed, new generations of explorers trained. The moon will have visitors again, and this time, they might stay. Build permanent bases, mine resources. Use the moon as a stepping stone to Mars and beyond. It's coming, not as fast as some hoped, but it's coming. Progress is rarely linear. It moves and fits and starts, advances and retreats. Moments of breakthrough, followed by long periods of consolidation. But the overall trend is forward. We learn. We improve. We build on what came before. That's human. That's what we do. We're tool makers, problem solvers, storytellers. We imagine better futures and then work to create them, one small step at a time. You can rest in that knowledge, that the work continues, that others will carry the torch when you need to set it down, that you don't have to solve everything yourself, carry every burden, heal every wound. You just need to do your part, whatever that looks like for you. Kindness, creativity, effort, presence, being here, now, in this moment, breathing and alive and aware. That's enough. That's always been enough. The station passes over oceans now, vast expanses of blue unmarked by human presence, except for the occasional ship, a tiny white speck trailing awake. The Pacific Ocean covers a third of Earth's surface. You could fit all the continents into it with room to spare. It's ancient and deep and largely unexplored. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of our own oceans. That's strange when you think about it, but also understandable. Space is easier to reach than the deep sea. No crushing pressure, no darkness so absolute that life had to evolve its own light sources to see. No extreme temperatures, extreme chemistry, extreme everything. The deep ocean is alien in its own way, stranger than Mars, harder to survive. But it's here, on our own planet, waiting to be understood. There are entire ecosystems down there, clustered around hydrothermal vents, where superheated water, rich in minerals, pours out of cracks in the seafloor. Life that doesn't depend on sunlight, that derives energy from chemistry alone, that exists in conditions we once thought impossible for life. They found bacteria inside rocks, kilometers beneath the surface, found them in boiling springs and frozen lakes and radioactive waste. Life is tougher than we thought, more adaptable, more persistent. That gives me hope. not just for life on Earth, but for life elsewhere. If it can survive in such extreme conditions here, maybe it can survive on Europa, beneath the ice shell, in the subsurface ocean warmed by tidal heating. Maybe it can survive on Enceladus, on worlds we have. Maybe the universe is full of life. Not intelligent life, not technological civilizations, but microbes, simple organisms. The building blocks that, given enough time and favorable conditions, might evolve into something more complex, or maybe not. Maybe intelligence is rarer than we think. Maybe we're it, the only minds in the galaxy or even the universe capable of asking these questions. Both possibilities are profound. Both change how we see ourselves and our place in the cosmos. If we're alone, then we're precious beyond measure, the only way the universe can know itself, the only consciousness in a vast sea of unconscious matter and energy. If we're not alone, then we're part of a community, separated by distance and time, perhaps unable to communicate or even detect each other, but still connected by the shared experience of existence, of awareness, of wonder. Either way, we matter. Either way, what we do with our brief time here has meaning. Choose kindness when you can. Choose curiosity. Choose connection. Choose to be present with the miracle of existence, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when you're tired and overwhelmed and ready to give up. You're made of stardust. You're a way for the cosmos to experience itself. You're temporary and precious and irreplaceable. And right now, you're drifting toward sleep. Your body is heavy with rest. Your mind is quiet, thoughts like distant stars, visible but not demanding attention. The darkness behind your eyelids is soft and welcoming, not empty, but full of potential, the space between breaths, where healing happens and dreams begin. I'm still here, still floating, still watching Earth turn beneath me, still surrounded by the silent vastness of space, still held safe by technology and physics and the collective effort of thousands of people working together to make this possible. It's a small miracle, this, a fragile bubble of warmth and life in a cold universe. But it's enough. It's more than enough, just like you, just as you are, in this moment, breathing, existing, part of something vast and ancient and ongoing. The Milky Way stretches overhead, a river of light, a reminder that we're part of something so much larger. Each point of light is a sun, with its own family of planets, its own story unfolding over billions of years. And we get to see it. We get to understand it, at least partially. We get to be conscious witnesses to the universe's grand unfolding. What a gift that is. What an improbable, beautiful, fleeting gift. The stars don't know we're watching. They don't care. They'll keep shining long after we're gone, after Earth is gone, after the sun itself has burned out and become a cooling ember drifting through space. But we know. We care. We look up and we wonder, and we try to understand. And in doing so, we give the universe meaning it wouldn't otherwise have. Meaning doesn't exist in atoms and energy. It exists in minds, in consciousness, in the connections we make between things, the patterns we recognize, the stories we tell. You are a meaning maker, a connection builder, a consciousness emerging from matter, questioning and wondering and loving and fearing and hoping. That's extraordinary. That's enough. Rest now. Let sleep come if it wants to. Let your thoughts dissolve into dreams, your awareness fade into the peaceful dark where healing happens and tomorrow is born. I'll keep watch. I'll keep floating here, between Earth and stars, holding space for wonder and peace. The universe is patient. It's been here for nearly 14 billion years. It will be here long after we're gone. There's no rush, no deadline, no race to finish. Just this moment, and this one, and this one. Each breath a small miracle. Each heartbeat a reminder that you're alive, here now. Part of the great cosmic dance that began with the Big Bang and continues through you, through all of us, through everything that exists. You are the universe experiencing it. And right now, the universe is tired, ready to rest, ready to let go of the day and sink into the gentle embrace. Let everything go, the worries. Let them all drift away like here and then gone, temporary and unimportant in the grand scheme of things. What matters is that this breath, this quiet peace settling over you like a blanket of stars. You are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you need to be. And as you drift off, know that somewhere above you, someone is floating in the darkness, watching Earth turn, thinking about the miracle of existence, grateful for the chance to share this moment. Sleep well, dear friend. Dream of stars and oceans and the vast, patient universe that holds us all. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You are part of that unfolding, and tomorrow when you wake, the sun will rise, the earth will keep turning, and the universe will still be here, ancient and patient and full of wonder. For now, though, rest. Just rest. Let the darkness hold you. Let sleep come gently, naturally, easily. You've done enough. You are enough. Sleep now. The stars will keep watch. The universe will keep turning. And you, precious and temporary and irreplaceable, can finally rest. Good night.